I'm here today with a demo review of the new Natasha Denona Foundation X Full Coverage Foundation. I have been using this for close to a month now. So I'm going to show you today how I apply it, how it wears throughout the day, and then kind of share with you guys my thoughts. Now you can find this at Sephora. It is $45. You do get 1 fluid ounce. Actually, you get 1.01 fluid ounces. And they have quite a few shades. It looks like they have about 10 shades. I am in the shade 40 Neutral Light. This is a medium red undertone and it works really, really great, especially when I'm self-tanned. Now, what this foundation claims, it says it is full coverage. It's great for sensitive skin, normal skin, dry skin, combination skin, and oily skin. So basically it's supposed to be good for everybody. It is a radiant finish. It says it's a long-lasting, full coverage radiant foundation that doesn't settle into fine lines and leaves the skin with a natural, radiant, flawless finish. Now, I agree with all of that. I don't find that it settles into fine lines or pores. It doesn't accentuate those things. It doesn't accentuate dry patches. It also, I find it lasts really well throughout the day. It does leave a beautiful, like, natural finish to the skin. On a scale from matte to glowy, I find it's kind of somewhere in the middle. More towards like a satiny look, but still beautiful. I mean, I still feel like my skin looks radiant, just not glowy. I'd say this is somewhere between like almost satin finish with like a slight radiance to it. I don't find it's like glowy or dewy looking, but it's also definitely not matte. So it does have like a radiance to the skin, like this healthy, youthful glow without being dewy, if that makes any sense. So on the spectrum of like dewy, luminous, and matte satin, it definitely goes a little bit more towards the matte finish for me, but with like a slight glow. You know what I mean? Like that glowing from within without being dewy or luminous. That's what this foundation does. I don't know how it does it, but it does. Because as you can see, like my skin has a glowiness to it. Obviously I have highlight on, but my skin is glowy without being like dewy, but it's not matte either. You know what I'm saying? Radiant. That's the word they use, we'll just go with it. It's radiant. I do find I have a slightly combination T-zone, so it does get a little bit oily. I find that that does start to kind of get a little bit shiny around between like the 4 and 6 hour mark, but I don't find that it breaks down. I do find it gets shiny, but I don't find it separates or breaks down, which is really nice. I also don't find that this foundation oxidizes on my skin. It's a foundation that I think mixes really beautifully with others. For my wedding day, I did mix the Natasha Denona foundation with the La Mer foundation, and it lasted all day. It looked beautiful on the skin. It had a beautiful like radiance to it that wasn't like too glowy, but also like, I think I wore this mixed with the La Mer for my ID photo as well that I just recently took. So really love it on its own, love it mixed with others. So if you want to see how it wears throughout the day and how it applies, then just stay tuned. I've been using this foundation for a few weeks now, and so I was going to show you how it applies and then like kind of check in so you can see how it wears through the day. It's going to be a hot day today. It's supposed to be 100, but I'm not going to go to the gym, so I feel like you get a good idea of how it's going to wear. So anyways, I'm going to prime my skin like I always do with the primer that I always use, and that's the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. This just kind of smooths out any uneven texture on my face and kind of fills in the pores a little bit. It doesn't add any glow or really mattify or anything. It just kind of smooths out my skin. If you don't have this primer, other good smoothing primers would be the Milk Blur Stick, which is really good, the Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer, or the Benefit Professional. To me, they're all kind of similar, especially those other three. The Milk Blur Stick is the one that's in a stick and I feels a little bit thinner of a consistency. I have really been enjoying this foundation. I really love mixing it too. My favorite combo to mix this with is the La Mer foundation. It ends up being a kind of pricey foundation mixture, but it's what I wore on my wedding day was this mixed with the La Mer. And it lasted all day. It was absolutely beautiful. I like to apply this with the Beauty Blender. It's my favorite. But I just find this blends really, really nicely. It lasts great throughout the day. I do tend to get shiny probably around the 6 hour mark, especially depending on the day if it's extra hot. So if you do have really oily skin, you'll probably just want to, you know, blot a little bit. Be aware of that. If you have dry skin, I think you're gonna love this. I don't find that it clings to any dry patches. Every time I go for my throat, my voice skips. It doesn't cling to any dry patches. It doesn't settle into fine lines. It doesn't accentuate pores. It's such a pretty foundation. And you can see there, it kind of has like a satin finish. It's not super matte. It's not dewy. It just kind of has like this really pretty natural satin finish, but with really great coverage. The NARS Soft Mattes has been like my go-to favorite concealer lately. And I'm just going to use this Kat Von D brush. And I take it right here on the inner corner, blend it out. I like to use a brush to apply this, and then I blend it out with my beauty blender. You can use your finger too, but since I've had nails since the wedding, I just don't like getting stuff under the nails. So anything that's in a pot, I end up reaching for a brush. And this just blends out so nicely. If you're interested in an eye tutorial, I did just film the Husband Buys My Makeup tag, and I ended up keeping the eye makeup on and just popping on some lashes, and then taking off the face makeup. So I don't know which will be up first, but if it's up already, I will link it down below. And if it's not up yet, then just stay tuned, subscribe so you guys can watch it. But I like the way the eye makeup turned out, so I just decided to keep that on and basically take off all the face makeup and redo that. Makeup Forever powder, it's just really, really good. I don't find that it makes my under eyes look dry at all. It doesn't, you know, dry out this under eye area, and it works really well with that NARS concealer. And I just kind of set the center of my face. If you do want to set the rest of your face, you can. I like to use something like this, which is the Next to Nothing powder. It really doesn't add any coverage. It just kind of keeps your foundation from being tacky, especially if you're gonna go in with powder products like bronzer and stuff. If your foundation's a little tacky, when you go to blend your powder blush or bronzer, it's going to be really streaky and patchy. I'm just gonna stick with my Boots number 7 that I've been using because I'm almost done with it. And it's like kind of killing me to use anything else, because when I'm so close to finishing a product, I kind of just want to finish it up, and I don't really like using anything else until it's gone. This is in Golden Sands, and it's a wonderful bronzer. You can get it at Ulta. I want to say it's like $10, but it's a great bronzer, as you can tell, because I've definitely used it up pretty quickly. And they do have 2 or 3 other shades too. I think this is one of the lighter ones, and they do have a couple darker ones as well, which probably would work better with a self-tan. This works really great when I'm fair. But I feel like there's so many great bronzers I've discovered lately that it's like really hard to just stick with this one, because I just got the NARS Laguna in the newer formula that I absolutely love. I finally got my hands on this Marc Jacobs one that smells like coconuts. It smells so good. Oh, it smells delicious. I would contour my nose and I'd always say, oh, well, like it looks like I'm contouring my nose crooked, but I'm not. What I realized, like as I've been contouring my nose, like this right here goes in and bumps out a little bit more. So if I feel along here, like this is almost more straight, and this one almost has like a little bit of a bump right there, which is why my contour was looking so crazy on camera. So the way I've been remedying that is I take this all the way down, keep it nice and straight. So that slims that side. And then for this side, I actually just go to where that hump is, and then I skip over it, and I kind of carve and make this a little bit slimmer. But when I was taking this all the way down, I was hitting that hump, and it was making it go wonky. And then I just blend it out with whatever little blending brush I have. Giorgio Armani in the shade Skin. So let's use that, because I really haven't used it much. They're expensive little blushes. Ted and I are filming a bunch of videos today. We're about to film the Q&A video with all your guys' questions. And then he's gonna help me film the Zaful bikini haul. This isn't a tutorial, but I feel like it's turning into tutorials. It's technically just supposed to be a wear test of this foundation. This is definitely Defined from MAC. It's one of their extra dimensions. They have a bunch of extra dimension blushes or highlights. Well, they have blushes too, but they're highlights on their website and they're so pretty. All right, and then we're nice and glowy. This is great. Now that you've seen me kind of finish up the rest of my face, it is 11:15, so I will check in a little bit so you can see how it's wearing throughout the day, and you saw how it applied, so I will check back in a little bit. I am here with a check-in for, I almost forgot I was filming a foundation first impressions because we've been filming so many videos today. It is 2:47. I've had this foundation on for 3 hours now, I think, and I don't even have a mirror. One second, I've changed the setup of this room, so my desk is now over here, and I just have like a little table, so let me get a mirror. I'm a tiny bit shiny right in here. So in the cases that it's a little bit shiny, all I do is I take my beauty blender, I don't add any additional product, and I just blot the places where I'm a little bit shiny. It keeps you from caking up because it absorbs the oil. It also doesn't disturb your foundation, and you're not adding more foundation or more powder, but it does a nice job of like blotting and mattifying that oil off. So far so good. I love this foundation. I still think it looks beautiful on the skin. It just is a slight bit dewy in the T-zone, but it's because it's 1,000 degrees in the house. But I will check back in a few hours and show you how it's holding up. I've had this foundation on for about 9 hours, and like I told you guys, at like the 6-hour mark, I start to get a little shiny. But for 9 hours, it's not too bad. It is wearing off around my nose a little bit because I did have my sunglasses on. It's nice and warm and hot, but it's definitely starting to break down on me a little bit. I can see just how shiny my T-zone and my forehead is getting. So I love this foundation. I think it wears really beautifully. Definitely when you hit the 8-hour mark, it's probably gonna start looking like not that great. Definitely not the worst. It's still totally manageable. If you took some powder with you, you could definitely powder and fix it, or even take some foundation and kind of touch up a little bit. At this point, I feel like my beauty blender trick doesn't work as well because it has been on for so long, and sometimes you kind of just need to freshen it up a little bit. So I say this does pretty well for about 8 hours, and then it kind of starts to like decline a little bit, but still love the foundation. I would highly recommend it if you have really oily skin. Make sure you're using a good mattifying primer, and make sure you're blotting throughout the day. If you have normal to dry skin, I think you're gonna absolutely adore it. So if you've tried this foundation, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.